Welcome back. You're here with our Master J, and today we are reviewing the third installment of GODSLAP, the comic book series from Mr. MoistCr1TiKaL himself. As the title of this video says, I am still a comic newbie, so any comments or critiques you have on this review, please leave in the comments below. Now, previously with my reviews, I've talked about the artwork and kind of some of my favorite images first, but I realized that I should probably do that on the back end and really kind of talk about the story of the book and what I liked and didn't like about some of the plots and character items. For this book, the plot is more of a series of events. So the last book ends with the big explosion and a mysterious person arriving on a motorcycle to where Cyan and Ace are. When the book ended, I thought that was Darius. It is not Darius, it's actually Noon. But before we even jump into the adventures of Noon, Ace, and Cyan, there is a bit of a, there's a dream sequence with Ace where he's getting in quite the verbal confrontation and even almost physical with Darius about pretty much Darius not wanting or allowing him, telling him how weak and pathetic he is, that he's actually doesn't have the capability to save him or anybody else. I kind of thought this was strange because I didn't really get that from the first book where Darius is involved, right? Darius just seems like a protector, not necessarily somebody who's also putting Ace down. So I don't know if this is just Ace believing this is what Darius thinks of him, or if this is truly something that Darius actually makes Ace feel day to day within their interactions. We have not seen Darius since book one, like half the first third of book one. So we really don't know what that relationship is, but this was the first insight into what this relationship is. Now, the beginning of this book kind of got me. I was like, okay, now we're building some of these characters, we're building some of these backstories. A lot of the things I've been going with the last two books was, who are these characters? Like, what's driving them? Why are we here? Where are they going? Where do they want to go? I haven't really gotten that yet. So I got this initial tidbit. I'm like, okay, this book is really going to jump into it. Also, what appears to be Ace's mother, I'm just guessing, this lovely lady here, tells him to wake up, and therefore he does. Obviously, Defister knows they're on the trail of Noon and them, but then we get into the desert adventures of Noon, Cyan, and Ace, which, you know, Noon is trying to help Ace develop his skills, hone in his skills, hone in that energy, that emotion, like any good mentor would in these kind of situations. Cyan also just trying to be the supportive person that they are. Kind of a night out, trying to get some rest, trying to recover. And then, yeah, out of nowhere, they get attacked by multiple giant desert earth monsters. They have some very interesting looks. They look pretty cool. Noon also gets to share some of his abilities, specifically with some knife throwing and crafty capabilities, we'll say. Cyan also gets into trouble, and of course, Ace is able to bring her out by, again, focusing that energy on that slap and trying to get better control of what his capabilities actually are through Noon's guidance. But that is pretty much all that goes on. It is two monster battles, and then a tornado storm rolls in and appears to separate the group. But that's kind of where it ends. Kind of ends at a little bit of cliffhanger again to say, hey, come back by the next one. What's going to happen next? I was really looking with this third book to build off of that second book, to build off of some of that that surprise of Defister seeing the baby. I thought they were immediately jumping into that with that kind of dream sequence Ace was having. But then they just kind of went on like a look at all the other things that are in this world. It didn't really do it for me. Definitely have disappointment within this book. I will say again, artwork, fantastic. It's a really fun visual medium. Again, I like the black and white. They brought in a little bit more coloring, a little red, a little of this orange yellowy color, especially with like Noon's blades. Very cool kind of feature with that. Noon remind me a lot of kind of Trigun. Very Trigun feel. The fact that they actually made him talk like a cowboy and stuff, it felt very Trigun. Trigun's one of my personal favorite animes. I did like the aesthetic and the kind of appeal to that. But I mean, yeah, I guess Ace has to hone in his skills. He's got to get trained up. That having those engagements allows for that to happen. But I would have liked for that to happen while learning a little bit more about what was going on. I could have probably gotten that with like a struggle through one random monster engagement. I don't know if I needed the second. I also don't know where the twisters come in to create this. It's like, that's just like, oh, random thing's gonna happen to make thing happen. So the next book, to kind of put you on a cliffhanger for the next book. I would have liked maybe this one to end with them being trailed. I don't know, Darius, where is Darius still? Does he, you know, all these things. So I continue to probably give the books another book or two, because give them credit, they are pumping these out at a relatively decent clip now. So it seems like they're getting a new book out every quarter of the year, which is excellent, you know, especially for a, you know, like 45-page floppy style books. So I will go ahead and get number 4, but I'm really hoping number 4 takes off. So I have book number 3 back down to a 5 out of 10. I'm even leaning almost to putting it at a 4. But again, the artwork and the stylistic things, very cool. I like them a lot. So I'm kind of letting that carry this book back up into an average standpoint. But I'm really looking for that. Give me that backstory. Give me that development. Where are we going with this? What's happening? This was really just a little bit more insight. And then things happen. So Ace can kind of go through the arc of honing his skills while still being very abrasive. For somebody who is locked on a farm with somebody apparently who is always degrading him all the time, he is like, he's a short fuse. He's a grumpy short little fuse. Another go back here. They allude to the fact that the events of these 3 books take place over the course of a day and a half. So Cyan has ran off with some person she found in an alleyway without an arm after he murdered a bunch of people, and she just assumed he's the good guy. That's still kind of, my mind's still not getting wrapped around that one. Also, I thought about this after the fact. I don't know what voodoo, crazy magic, science, medical capabilities they have in this world. We are also able to take an arm that was completely severed from one's body, attach it, and get the tendons, muscles, bones, blood vessels, and everything to attach also functioning within that day and a half. That's next, unless it is a fake arm. If it's a fake arm, I completely missed where it kind of explains that, but I'm under the impression he reattached his actual arm. I've gone off on enough of a tangent. GODSLAP Volume 3, 5 out of 10. We're going to go 5 out of 10. All right, there we go. 5 out of 10. Thanks for checking out this review. Please let me know what you thought in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and have a fantastic rest of your evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are on this crazy world. As always, GG's.